All right, time for another episode of Just Hangin, and right now we're joined by Kevin Hageland of the KMC Masterpiece. Used to just
Oh,
KNC
you
Masterpiece.
too, huh, Jared?
But okay, so are you not in favor of the name switch?
KNC Masterpiece. And Sean has trolled Corey with this, and now I see you're jumping on the bandwagon.
So I didn't realize. I apologize. I thought this was like an official switch
Nope.
because I always hear Sean. I'm usually listening uh, during that stretch where you guys cross, and then the beginning of your show. And I always hear Sean say KMC Masterpiece, and I just assumed that you guys are on board with that.
I mean, I think if Mike was more demanding about it, maybe we would change it, but I don't think he really cares one way or another. And Sean definitely does it just to troll Corey, because Corey's like, you bleh." And so I think it's a funny bit, but it is still the KNC Masterpiece.
Okay. All right. Well,
Mike can be the ampersand.
that I think he's such a wild card that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you know the drill. We've talked about some of these that I've done with Rangers players, so it shouldn't be too foreign. But you are in the hot seat right now, and we are going to start with some favorites. Kevin Hageland, your favorite food?
Pizza all day. And you know what? When I started doing the, not to turn this into a plug for that or anything, but when I started doing soda, they asked me, what is the food that you love that doesn't love you back? And it's definitely pizza, man.
What's your perfect pizza?
So there's this place up in Chicago, and it's called Lou Malnati's, and it is like deep dish, but like I'm saying, like real deep dish. And a meat lover's deep dish from Lou Malnati's is like, oh, my life is complete.
So I can usually take down, gosh, like even a large, I can probably take down an entire pizza. Like I love pizza, but when the first time I went to Lou Malnati's, we were figuring out what size pizza to get, and I was so confused. I was like, what? I don't think you guys know how much I can eat. And they're like, I don't think you know how tough it is to eat, whatever. And I definitely overordered at Lou Malnati's, but it was so good.
How many pieces did you take down? Because I think the first time I did like 2, I was like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I think it was. I want to say I might have tried a third just because I felt so embarrassed but I don't think I even got more than a bite in on the third, and I think I regret attempting the third. But I think even 2, I think you're right. The first time I did it, I think 2 was even a little bit of a struggle.
And it's funny because you mentioned the same way, like my family, most of my mom's family is from Chicago, how they dealt with it when we were up there. They're like, trust me, this is going to be enough food. And I was like, all right, I don't know. And then you start eating it and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it.
So since we don't have, I know we have some deep dish options in DFW, but we don't have the Lou Malnati's, the authentic version here. If you and your son Brandon are just going to order a pizza, what's like? Do you like the thin crust? Do you like the square pizza? What do you go for?
So just as a heads up for people that check this out, if you're looking for a place, they have this place, Geno's East, and there's one in Arlington. There used to be one in Dallas that I would hit up. Like that's, it's close enough to that sweet deep dish. I don't really I'm not like a huge thin crust person. I like, give me some crust. So I'll probably go with that like pan pizza, because I like the way they cook the crust. And I'm all about like whatever topping that's not a vegetable, I'm usually in favor of. Like I'm all about the meat lovers or any combination. But if you're bringing the supreme or the vegetables to my pizza, I'm probably out on you as a human being.
All right.
Is that too extreme?
No, but I also wonder where the Supreme got its name, because it is not a Supreme option. I don't like the Supreme. I don't know.
So like every family function we ever have that's hosted by my mom, she'll order Domino's. I don't know why it's always Domino's, but it's always Domino's. And she'll order like, depending on the number of people, let's just say 1 cheese pizza, 1 pepperoni pizza. And there's always like 2 or 3 of these pepper and onion and sausage pizzas, and she's like, everybody likes it. And at the end of every family gathering, I walk through the boxes with her to show that she's definitely wrong about that, and she needs to reconfigure the way she orders pizza.
You know what I wonder? Like, I guess there's definitely a segment of the population that likes all of those toppings, but I
Sure.
feel like those are like you get pepperoni is very popular, sausage is very popular, and you know what? If you throw them together, chances are a lot of people are going to like it. But I feel like the vegetable on a pizza is so polarizing, and usually people, I'd say, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn. I want to say the majority of people like a particular vegetable, like maybe they like mushrooms, maybe they like onions on their pizza, but they don't want multiple vegetables on their pizza. Now, I know there are some people who do, but I feel like they are in the heavy minority, and thus I don't know that the Supreme is a good group setting option.
Whereas opposed to if you went cheese, pepperoni, sausage, I
Yeah,
feel like people will be like, that's fine.
yeah,
I, is pepperoni the most popular topping, you think?
I think so. It's got to be right.
I think so too.
Yeah, but I do. I mean, the meats are pepperoni and sausage is great. If you want to add more meats, I'm cool with it. The only time I don't, there's certain places I feel like they don't, the meats overwhelm it. Like it's really just like a bunch of meats and oh, there happens to be some cheese. Like I want the meats, but I don't need 17 different types of meats such that you don't actually now have a pizza. It's just like a plate with a lot of meat.
Do you think that's the strategy at certain places? Because they're like, our pizza isn't really that good, so we got to overwhelm it with other stuff.
I never thought of that. That is actually a pretty good suggestion. It might be.
That's my theory.
All right. I love talking movies with you, and we probably could go 20 minutes talking movies, but I don't know. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite movie, one that stands out among the
Yes.
crowd? Okay.
Yes. My favorite movie is The Empire Strikes Back,
Okay.
the part 5 of the Star Wars saga. Like, I love Star Wars, but if I could only watch one movie ever again, it would be The Empire Strikes Back. I actually have a top 5, but
Okay. Yeah.
Empire
No,
is number
that's
1.
fine.
Do you want the rest of the top 5?
I would love the rest of the top
And
five.
what a waste of time if I told you I had a top 5 but didn't actually go through the top 5. So it's only Empire Strikes Back at number 1. The rest are in no discernible order. So it goes Rosemary's Baby, Usual Suspects, and then Tommy Boy. And, for the longest time, it used to be 2001 A Space Odyssey. And all of a sudden, I'm realizing I might be blanking on number 5. So maybe this is definitely, oh, and Wayne's World. So yeah, Tommy Boy, Wayne's World, Usual Suspects, and Rosemary's Baby. That's my top 5.
Is there an actor or an actress? Like, I'd like to phrase it in a way different than your favorite. Like, no matter what they're in, when this person is a part of the project, you are always going to give it a shot.
So that's a great question because I need to find a new one because the person who it was, apparently they do not good things because it was Kevin Spacey.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to so I don't have a replacement just yet. Actually, you know what? That's not true. I definitely have a replacement. It's Michael B. Jordan. So he's the best. He was in Friday Night Lights, which I love. Then he popped up in Parenthood and, obviously the Creed movies, Fruitvale Station. Like he's been in a bunch of stuff. The crazy thing is I've never seen The Wire. And that's I guess where he kind of got his start. So but Michael B. Jordan, he's the man.
Do you have or did you have a celebrity crush?
Yes, I have, and I hope you'll appreciate this crush for reasons we can or cannot get into. It was Natalie Portman. I have loved Natalie Portman forever. So I'm all about her.
I mean,
And then she was in Star Wars movies, Jared. That just sent it to, oh my gosh.
all right. Favorite smell?
Whew, that is an interesting question. You know what? And a lot of people think this is weird. My favorite smell, and it's hard to describe, is when you can tell it's about to snow. Like there's this weird vibe in the air, and it's just I love that cold feeling. And I've always lived in Texas. Like I grew up here, I was born here, but my entire family's from Chicago, and I always dig that weather. And there's this smell in the air. You can feel it too when it's about to snow, and that's my favorite.
Favorite board game?
Oh my gosh. So I really hesitate to say this, but I have a new, like, it's becoming my new favorite game. And I promise I want everyone to look it up to see that it's a real board game, or else I sound like a monster. It's called Secret Hitler. Yeah, I know it's a jarring title. It really is. Have you ever heard of it before?
No.
Okay, I swear it's a legitimate game that you can buy on Amazon, but my fiance Jess, we played it over at her roommate's house, and we played it a couple of times, and it's a really fun like party game because you have to determine how much you can trust people and if they're telling the truth, and it's just a really fun like newer game that I've been into, but otherwise I always dug Trivial Pursuit. But yeah, I mentioned Secret Hitler on the air once, and like nobody backed me up until the very end of the segment. And then all these texts came in. They're like, "Oh yeah, people love that game." But the whole segment, people are like, "I think you just made that up, and you might be a terrible person." And I was like, "I swear, it's a real game."
All right. Favorite cereal?
Cocoa Pebbles. Now, don't get it twisted. Not Cocoa Krispies. Very different. People will try to tell you it's the same. That's a bunch of nonsense. So Cocoa Pebbles is the best. First of all, the cereal is delicious, and the milk that it churns out afterwards is not. It's not 100% chocolate milk, but it's closer than any other product you'll get. Close runner-up, peanut butter Captain Crunch. Not regular Captain Crunch, though that is good, but peanut butter Captain Crunch. So that's my 1-2. Those two are close, and everything else is a little bit down the road.
All right. Who's
Real
the
quick.
person? What's that?
Real quick, sorry, Jared. Do you ever remember Rice Krispie Treat cereal?
So not Rice Krispies, but Rice Krispie treats here. No, I mean, okay, let me rephrase. Yes, but I don't ever remember trying it.
Okay, I used to love that cereal, and I guess maybe it wasn't very popular because I feel like it didn't stick around very long. But yeah, if anybody's watching this, they're like, "Yo, I remember Rice Krispie Treat cereal. That was my jam for a while too."
All right, who's someone you've gotten to meet who was high up on your list, and who's someone you would really like to meet?
So I got to meet Rolando Blackman, and it was at the Final Four, and he was like my all-time favorite Dallas Maverick, and it was like this was the height of fame to me outside of maybe the time I met Elton Brand, and I don't want to bring up too many people like that because it'll infuriate you.
Elton Brand is one of the few people from Duke who I actually kind
Okay.
of.
He was super awesome. And the fact that nobody clamored around him, I was like, I'm going to go talk to him, try not to nerd out. But so Rolando Blackman was in Nancy Lieberman's suite that we got to go up to at the Final Four when it was here in Arlington. And it was great because I was just like, oh my God, is that Rolando Blackman? And he was just like hanging out, doing normal people stuff. And so, you always debate whether or not you want to bother them in a non-professional setting because obviously you're there to do your job, you do your job, and you go from there. But I just started chit-chatting with him, and we talked for like 5 minutes, and at no time did I feel like he was trying to get out of there. And I was like, this is pretty great. And so finally I just ended the conversation because I was like, we're probably pushing our luck at this point. And so I got to talk with him, and he was super great. The person I would love to meet, and again, I only bring this up, I don't want to infuriate you, but I want to be honest, it's Coach K. I would love to meet Coach K. I think it would be awesome.
Listen, anyone who's got the success that he's had and has maybe wasted as much talent as he's wasted.
Okay.
I'd love to. I'm kidding. He's an all-time great. He gets a pass sometimes, but that's another conversation.
Man, we need to do a separate one of these Zoom calls about your hatred of man. Like, if we could piece together all of our off-air conversations back and forth, just giving each other crap about Duke, that would fill a total other Zoom.
Oh man, all the passive-aggressive comments that are made when one of us is leaving or
oh
in
yeah,
the studio. Like,
man, I remember specifically, I got a pair of Kyrie 4 Duke shoes because I thought they looked amazing. And the first time I ever wore them, like outside the NCAA tournament, I absolutely wore them on a day that I knew Jesse Holly would be in studio. And I did it just to irritate him. So I'm not pretending like I'm above any of that. I'm just as bad as everybody.
You're not afraid to strut your stuff there.
Not at all.
All right. What is your social pet peeve?
My social pet peeve. Oh man, that is a really good question. What's your social pet peeve? I need to think this over for a second. Am I allowed to ask questions back?
You can. So Emily coerced me into doing one of these where she interviewed me.
Oh,
It is yet to be released and might never be released. But I think what I determined was, and I definitely have a few, but there's always that person who, when you're in a group setting and you guys are talking as a group, there's always that person who feels like they have to be involved in every leg of the conversation and is always like the first one to answer every question. Like, let's say I'm asking you a question about the history of Duke basketball, and Stevie
sure.
Smith, who has no clue about Duke basketball, is sitting to my right, but he has to answer the question. Like, or I always get a kick out of that person when there's like a doctor in the room and like a medical conversation comes up and that person jumps in like that. I have a tough time with that person.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, that was perfect because that's a great one, but it helped me remember mine. And Corey would have told you this instantaneously. I hate motivational speeches. So I hate them. So I know this comes up more in a work context than like a hanging out with your friend context. But let me assure you, if anyone's about to give you a rah-rah speech, I'm out. I'm out instantly. Like I'm motivated to do something on my own, and I really don't need some fake motivational speech about how we're all going to blah, blah, blah. So I would have been terrible in Braveheart. I would have been bad in Lord of the Rings. Like I am either driven to do something or I'm not. So your dumb speech is not going to help out at all.
When you're watching a movie and you're not the subject of the speech, can you get fired up? Like,
Yeah, maybe because like when Bill Pullman gets after it in Independence Day, I'm like, you know what? I'd fight some aliens. And it kind of goes with what you were saying. If I'm going to listen to the one speech, I surely don't want somebody else giving a speech after that. Like, you know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
especially in the corporate world. Like, you get a speech and then somebody decides they're going to give a motivational speech. And I'm like, oh my God, this is my own personal hell.
all right, this is going to be an interesting answer because you are known for your way of conveying your emotions. When is the last time you cried?
Man, that is a really good question because I don't know if I have a good answer for you because I was thinking about this not January of 2020, but in January of 2019, my dad passed away and I did not cry then. Now, maybe that's in part because we have a really complicated backstory that we don't need to get into the weeds about all of that. But I didn't cry at that. And so I'm not sure. This might be a cheat, but what if I gave you a movie that makes me cry?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And I always joke that it would take a robot not to cry at this movie, but the movie My Girl. Have you ever seen the movie My Girl?
Of course.
Oh my gosh. Like, I am also terrified of bees. And so the fact that this little kid who was about the same age as I was died via relentless bee stinging, that is traumatic enough. And then like when she runs in and her mood ring changed colors, and then she runs into the funeral and she's like, he can't see without his glasses. Oh my God. I start sobbing like a little kid with a skinned knee. I'm telling you.
You know what movie the movie that I think I cried more in the first time I saw it, and I think a part of it was because I remember this. I had a cold, and so it like amplifies the tears.
Sure. Yeah.
When I saw Simon Birch, you remember? Did you ever see
I
Simon Birch?
do. I
Yeah,
did see that movie. It's been a
that was
minute.
that one like got me more than anything. And then another one, I cry every time I see Armageddon.
What? Why?
There are two parts.
Ooh.
Two parts. One, when Bruce Willis, takes
Take Ben Affleck's place. We can spoil it, Jared. That movie
yeah.
came out like
So
22 years
so
ago.
when Bruce Willis takes Ben Affleck's place to die, and then when William Fichtner, who played, I forget the Colonel, whatever his name was,
Yeah.
goes up to Liv Tyler and says, I want to, I think the line is something along the lines of, I want to shake the hand of the daughter of the bravest man on the face of the earth. And I just think about
Okay.
because I have a close relationship with my dad, and I think about not that my dad is the America's hero or anything. It's just like
I
the
get it
sacrifice, right? It just, I don't
for
know.
sure.
So that's
So
one for me.
I got to tell you, one of the most surreal moments of my life is back when I worked in the newspaper, I did a press screening for Toy Story 3. And there's other people in the audience, but there's these couple rows of just critics. And these are like grizzled people. They've been through it all. These just rows of people are just bawling at the end of Toy Story 3. And it's so weird because you're around all of these movie critics and they are just sobbing. And then eventually there was a website called Men Who Cry at ToyStory3.com. And I was like, that movie hit me in the feels. But I don't know if it's like my girl level, but it's pretty high up there.
All right. Let's go to, would you rather own a zombie or be a zombie?
I'd rather own a zombie. I have very intricate thoughts with the zombie apocalypse, and it all comes down to you can go the route of Michonne, where you use it as a pet and maybe zombies don't mess with you, or you can look at it from like the end of Shaun of the Dead, where he convinces his best friend to go live out in the shed in the back and play video games with him sometimes. So I would much rather own a zombie.
Okay, would you rather own a dragon or be a dragon?
Oh, man. I think I would rather own a dragon too, because if I'm going Game of Thrones, being a dragon sounds like a lot of fun. But I also like, watching TV and stuff. I don't know if that's something that dragons get into. And I would think if I owned a dragon, I will have trained it up that it's on my side. And a dragon on my side, well, I'm taking over.
All right. If you can ask anyone any question, you're guaranteed to get total honesty. What question would you ask, or what would you like uncovered?
I would find whoever knows the answers and ask for everything that we know about aliens. I would really want to go to, and I don't know if it's the secret head of Area 51, if it's the leader of the Pentagon, or if it's just straight up the president. I would honestly want to know, what can you tell me about the Roswell, New Mexico crash? Are there other incidents? Have aliens been confirmed to be to this planet? Because a universe and galaxy are big giant entities. It seems only reasonable, at least to me, that there's something out there somewhere. Whether or not it's been here, I don't know, but I would love to know the answer to that.
If I told you, okay, so let's say you got that question answered in the affirmative, and then they came back and said, you can go, we'll take you to whatever planet to see these aliens, but there's no guarantee that you're ever going to make it back on Earth.
I don't think I would go, but that's just a product of my son and who's in my life now. So there was a good 25 years before that where I think I would be in. I would just have to see it, and I would have to know. And that's a great question. That's why I was so fascinated by, they were doing the thing with the people who were going to go to Mars, and they were going to be the first people to Mars, on a commercial flight, but they were never going to come back. And a shocking number of people signed up for that. But yeah, to go to that other planet, to figure out how you got there and to meet that other species, that sounds incredible. I just don't think I could leave my people behind now,
Yeah. All right.
Do you feel that way at all? Maybe
No,
in years
I would
past?
definitely not leave.
Okay.
Because there's no guarantee. First of all, I think a part of experiencing something so unique is then the ability to share it with people, and you wouldn't be able to do that. And what if it's a major letdown? What if these aliens stink, or that maybe they kill me? I don't know. But I think I'd rather just know that they exist and hope that maybe in my lifetime they make their way to Earth while enjoying my friends and family.
That's fair.
All right, either or. Chicken nuggets, chicken fingers.
Chicken fingers.
Go-karts or bungee jumping?
Go-karts. I have never been bungee jumping. I'll tell you right now, if it's up to me, I will never go bungee jumping. I cannot get over the fact, and especially it might be because I used to be way heavier and I was too heavy to do the bungee jumping. I cannot get over the fact that that thing might break and then you're dead.
Big car, little car.
I think I'm moving more towards big car. I was always a little car, but like I see the value of the hauling capacity of the big car. So I think that, and plus the ability, I'm an aggressive driver. So the ability to intimidate people on the road via just the size of your vehicle. Look, I ain't hating that.
Ketchup or mustard?
Oh, I'm gonna infuriate you right now. Neither.
Okay,
I
that's
think
fine.
I think the vast majority of condiments outside of buffalo sauce and barbecue sauce are gross. If you
Okay.
love Raising Cane's because of their sauce, thumbs down. If you like other things on your hot dog at the ballpark, nope.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla,
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
milk chocolate.
Pancakes or waffles?
Give me waffles. Although French toast, better than both.
MJ or LeBron?
MJ. I mean, look, like LeBron, I think LeBron has definitely moved himself into, no question, best small forward of all time. And now I think he is considered in the top 5 players of all time, but it's MJ.
Uh, all right.
Are you MJ?
What?
Are you MJ?
No, I'm LeBron.
Woo!
But this is what I say, because in our industry, people like to frame things as like, oh, you say LeBron, why do you think MJ sucks? I think they're the two best players ever.
That's what I always get knocked on for when we talk about Romo, is I always say Romo is not great, and I stand firm by that. And people are like, oh, so you think Romo sucks? And I was like, no, I think he was a very good quarterback, but that's it. Like, he was never great, he was never elite, and people get mad about that. So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think, like, if you were to say, I don't think MJ's a top 5 player, I'd fight you. If you were to say, I don't think LeBron is a top 5 player, then I don't know. Like, I think, okay, here's the way I see it. I think by any measurement, any perspective, it's tough to say that MJ's not a top 5 player. There are some people who have presented convincing arguments as to why LeBron's not a top 5 player. I don't agree with them, but I respect and appreciate what they're saying. I just think, for me, the way I see that, like, the way I value things and view the game, like, it's not Michael Jordan's fault he was not 6'8", 275. Like, that, he can't control that. That's just something LeBron has. I also think that LeBron gets knocked defensively, but there were times in his career where he was outstanding defensively. Like, I think there was one year where when they divided the court into quarters. And when he was within one quarter, either in the quarter or in that quarter, like, the field goal percentage for the opposing team was the lowest in the NBA by any measure, or by far. And I just think that he's a guy that for so long, like, when he played with the Cavs, he was the guy, the only guy, and just got so used to, like, how am I going to conserve energy? Like, before we got into this era of basketball where we, load management, there wasn't load management. And so I'm not going to bust my tail defensively, because if I don't do it offensively, no, am I going to rely on Larry Hughes? So I almost think LeBron in some ways made some business decisions, but I think when he needs to be, I still think he's outstanding defensively.
Look, there was 3 straight years where he was first team all NBA defense. And I think he is 3-5 or 3-6 in the finals. There's at least 2 or 3 of those that I don't think should count. The fact that he got that team to the finals is more impressive than just winning anything. So I'm with you. I've got him in the top 5, but unless he rolled off like 2 or 3 straight titles in LA, I'd have a hard time bumping him up above Jordan.
Yeah, I get, and even if I think LeBron's better, I obviously say MJ achieved more because the guy won 6 titles. Pronunciations: pecan or pecan?
Pecan. Although I know a lot of people say pecan, but pecan.
Root or route?
Route.
Caramel or caramel?
It's caramel.
New Orleans or New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Crayon or crown?
Do people say crown?
Yeah, a lot of people say crown.
What?
Jeff Kavanaugh actually says crayon.
Yeah, I guess that indicates my answer. I'm shocked that that other one is an option.
All right, Belichick or Saban?
Belichick.
Okay, for 1 month, you either have to have airplane ears, where they don't pop, or a clogged nose.
Airplane ears. Clogged nose is just the worst. Man, you know what? I might be answering that wrong though, because usually the clogged nose, you experience it for longer. But I'm going to stick with airplane ears, knowing that I may well regret that later.
Okay, and you have to get rid of one of these functions: copy and paste or undo.
Copy. I'm getting rid of undo. Like, I make mistakes for sure, but I don't want to function in a world that doesn't have copy and paste. You know what? I'm really glad you didn't ask me what I thought might be the most controversial pronunciation, because people still get mad at this. Do you say Whataburger or Waterburger?
I'm gonna get some Whataburger. I don't
Okay.
say Waterburger.
Okay. I definitely say Waterburger because I grew up in Texas and that's just how I've always said it. But
So
people get furious about that.
I don't think I think I'm in between. I don't think I like really emphasize Waterburger,
Yeah.
although I did when I grew up as well in Texas. I thought that's what it was, but I don't think I like make an effort to say what a burger. I think I'm like kind of in between.
Okay.
That's a good one though. Maybe I might need to add that to the list. All right, teammate identification. So anyone who's on air in any capacity at 105.3 The Fan.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll get this one out of the way just because you've already made your stance clear on this. But one of the questions, not joking you, is who's most likely to give an inspirational speech that's going to fire you up?
I mean, if there was going to be one, it would probably be Gavin Dawson. The closest I ever came to not rolling my eyes at a motivational speech was probably him. But then two more people decided to talk after it, and I was like, oh my God, this is the worst.
Best arguer.
Ooh, probably Sean Sharif. Like, there was a time where straight up, and he'll tell you the same thing unless he doesn't want to talk about it. He and I did not like each other. Like, we're very different personally, but we kind of got to the point where, like, Sean Sharif is team 105.3 The Fan through and through. And I realized, like, we should be natural allies. We both are very much like go station, go team number one. And so we figured it out. We squashed our beef and whatnot. And I would probably say him.
Wittiest.
Wittiest is, man, people, I think it could be Reggie, or people might be sleeping on Zach Wolchuk a little bit. Those nosebleed boys, obviously, I have a soft spot in my heart for that time slot, but and those boys can turn it around really quickly.
Okay, most creative. If you can separate wittiness from creativity.
Oh, would I get in trouble if I said Roy? Um, Probably. Dude, I'm just saying, like, he had a bunch of songs and he really like put a lot of effort into it and stuff. But if not him, I would say, man, that's a hard question. I would say maybe Troy then. Troy like is a whiz on the board and he's able to crank things out really impressively fast. So I might say Troy. I know he doesn't get all the talk time, but that dude is pretty creative.
Okay, yeah. Okay, what about you're playing like pub trivia or Jeopardy? You need someone who knows a lot about a lot. Who are you picking?
Reggie. Like, and that kind of goes into, so maybe I'll give it to Wolchuk for wittiest, but dude, Reggie knows a lot of things about a lot of things.
Okay, you're in a fight. Who do you want backing you up?
I think Corey, because Corey has the same kind of like, you don't see it a lot, but he has the same kind of internal rage inside of him that I do. That if things really went down, I think would want Corey on my side to beat somebody down, assuming they started it, of course.
Sure. All right, last one. Kindest, most genuine person.
It's Chris Arnold. It's 100% Chris Arnold. And I've gotten into discussion with somebody once that they were like, yeah, but Chris Arnold is so phony. And I was like, he's not. He's that nice all the time.
Right.
Like when we were just on Sundays, he would like go out of his way to be nice to us. Even to this day, when I see him, or he will text me, he was like, dude, I got some insight for you about that thing you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Or he'll see you in the hallway and he wants to like, well, under our previous life, high five or whatever. Chris Arnold is like one of the nicest humans I've ever met. And if anybody ever tells you a phony, he's a phony, they're full of crap. He's nice all the time.
Kevin, you are off. Thanks for just hanging.
Woo!